Why would any man want to be a father? That question made me angry. A young man asked me that question, and I got angry, not with him, but with the premise of the question, because I didn't have an answer for him. Why would any man want to be a father? And I'm a father. I got 4 children. And the young man I'm talking to, he has 1 child, and the woman, she doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She's moved on with her life, and she took her baby with her. She took her baby with her. And so he can go to court and all this stuff, but what's that gonna do? She lives in another state and he barely has $1. How do I get to the other state? These are personal problems. These are personal problems. And we live in a society right now where men's problems are personal problems, but a woman's problems, that's society's problems. Now I understand why a woman's problems are the problems of all of society, because a woman is the only person in her whole society that can have a baby. That's what makes you special. You can have a baby. I can't have a baby. But now we get to the facts, but you're choosing not to have a baby. And so we have a society that was developed and cultivated for the edification of women. But however, only on the premise of you having a baby, but since you're not having a baby, we still got this whole system designed squarely for you. And so when the young man said, why would any man want to be a father? He was asking me a question. What am I supposed to do? How do I see my child? How do I be a father? How do I be a parent? How do I be present? How do I co-parent with a person who doesn't have to talk to me? We have a whole government that said, woman, you have that baby, Medicaid, we'll give you some food, we'll give you some WIC, and we'll also give you child support. So you ain't never got to talk to that man. A matter of fact, man, when you start saying the truth out loud, it gets very uncomfortable, because the government owns women and children. What do I mean? The wards of the state. According to the crime bill of the 1990s and the Woman Act or whatever, if you go to court and you beat me up, yes, and the police come and you say that you started the altercation, but I pushed you and now I'm in handcuffs, yes, guess what? It's no longer me versus you. It's me versus the state of Texas. It's me versus an entire system, right? It's the same with a child, because the government has decided that children don't have no autonomy. And so it's the state CPS has to come protect you. Child Protective Services has to protect children. In the state of Texas, every state protects women. And so since the state owns women and children, men are out here looking at each other like, why would any man want to be a father to a child that's not mine? A child that's the government's. It's not my baby, it's the United States government's baby. Uncle Sam got millions and millions of babies because men have allowed the legal system and women in general to just castrate us. Just take our nuts, throw our nuts on the ground and say we're not going to fight back. Why'd I get mad? That young man asked me a question. He said, how do I see my baby? And when he asked me that question, I had the same thought in my mind. I said, damn, how do I see my baby? It sounds good when a woman tells you, you can see your child whenever you want. Cool, right now, this very second, right now. Let me see my baby right now. Well, you know that's not reasonable. I mean, we have to plan. So that means that means I can't see my child whenever I want. Like in a theoretical world, in a world where there is no government and it's just me, you, and baby, I walk through the door from wherever I just came from, and there goes you and my baby. We live in the same place in this magical fairy tale world where, resources are limited. We only have a certain amount of money and food and shelter. So we have to do this thing together because this is a cooperation. This is what's called a family, like the original government, the original structure. God, man, woman, child, we all work together for the greater good of their family, our legacy, so we can have little people for the future. And then all of a sudden, man, we started having all these big ideas, great ideas, and the courts and the laws. And whenever you put money into it, whenever you add money into any situation, then damn, the American family has been bought and sold and being traded on the open market. You watch television so you can see commercials. Buy some Ajax, buy some Dawn, buy some dryer sheets. Like, we're worse than slaves. The American person is worse than a slave because slaves, they got food, shelter, clothing, they had structure. But for you don't get none of that. You don't get no food, you don't get no water, you don't get no shelter, you don't get nothing unless you're a woman and a child. You don't get nothing. Work, nigga, work. And then spend money. Work, nigga, work. And then spend money. You want to see your child? Spend money. You want a woman? Spend some money. The young man said, why would any man want to be a father? And it made me angry because he asked me a million questions. He asked me, what does it mean to be a man? Especially in a modern society when I have physical muscles and the capacity to go and be aggressive, but I can't be aggressive, I can't be assertive, because then the state will come and say, ha, you're being too aggressive, you're being too assertive, you can't use your power, and so we will use our power over you. Every man in America should be listening to me. Every man around the world should be listening to me. You've given your power to a woman. You've given your power to a legal system. And you have no power when God made you powerful. But you don't believe that you're powerful because you think that you're supposed to be equal to her when she can have a baby and you can't. When she can take your baby and you can't. When she can get government assistance and you can't. But you still talk about equal when you're suffering, you're suffering. You don't got no life. You don't have anything. You can't afford your apartment. You can't afford your food. You can barely make it to work. I'm talking to you. Yeah, to the person who asked me, why would any man want to be a father? What's the incentive? Huh? Where's the tax credits for me? My tax credits go to child support. Huh? Yeah, I'm mad. Because I understand what the system is. I understand that I don't have the single power by myself to change the system. And so I had an idea. I created a hat. I created a whole brand, The Greatest American Alive, because I know that by myself, one patriot can't fight against the system. But if there's 10 million of us, then what can they do when 10 million dads say, man, I ain't paying another dime? Huh? When 10 million dads say this legal system is oppressive, Emancipation Proclamation, all the fathers in America are now free. Huh? There's no more legal boundaries to my manhood. Take your weapons off of my weapon. Huh? I'm not no prude. I shall not be chased by the state. I'm a free person. Every man can fornicate with whomever he pleases, have children with whomever he pleases, and there is no recourse. This is a civil matter. Either you choose to engage with me in a fair and meaningful way between me and you, because Uncle Sam ain't gonna be in the middle of my relationship no more. And like, even if I can't do it legally, I can do this shit mentally right now. Bitch, I ain't fucking with you. If I gotta talk to another man or talk to my kid, then bitch, fuck you, I ain't doing it. Oh, you can't be like that. You gotta be a better man. You gotta be a healthy man. You can't be toxic. These are all words used to trap you. Because a free person, a free individual has the ability to have whatever feelings they want. You can be as devious and as manipulative as you want. You can be as heroic and as noble as you want. There are good people, there are bad people, and there are a myriad of motherfuckers in between. And you get to choose. Good person, bad person, just some other type of person. But this is just free people. Men are free people. You're a free person. You get to make a decision and say, how do I want to be free? And I'm going to start my freedom off by saying I'm going to stand up against an oppressive government. I'm going to stand up against an oppressive woman. Say, nah, bitch, I'm not your possession. You don't own me. Why would any man want to have a child? Because my legacy and lineage matters. Because men have babies. I don't give a shit what the law is. I don't give a shit about your feelings or what the politics are. I'm finna get some ass. I'm finna make some babies.